welcome back to another episode of All In RC, where everything is all in here. We are from surface to air with a little bit of in between. We're doing a little bit of everything. Right now we're focusing more on our crawler segment of things. Kind of what we're working on lately, doing a little bit more of crawler than we are of off-road. Got one carpet buggy, play around with, etc., see if we're going to get into any more off-road. We go by the paces. So right now the pace is slow. Crawler world. So we're back to another video of the hands on the workbench. And we're going to go into a little bit of a slight dive into the tire and rim thing. Alright. So more of these videos that are on this kind of, I don't want to say segment, but the beginning of the page and working on things. Trying to keep in mind that the beginning of the page is exactly that. The beginning. The beginning for me, for you, for whoever, for somebody that's getting into the hobby and digging a little deeper, not just sticking with RTR stuff, which I don't really have anything RTR except this little rim here that's in pieces, because I'm going to show you. But nice plastic RTR rim here. That's a Vanquish rim. Beadlock rim, that is. So if you're getting into the crawler stuff where you're getting away from, and a lot of companies are, there are still some companies, Axial for example, that still like to glue tires to a rim. I don't know why we're doing that. Doesn't make much sense to me, being that they can easily manufacture, and they're out there everywhere, a plastic rim. Okay, that is a beadlock. You know, not that hard to do. Pretty cheap, cost effective, etc. Does job. Not essential for weight, and we'll get into a little bit of that maybe in this video. We'll see where it takes us, but anyhow, for all you going out there trying to get into more things, more compy, more trail maybe, you just want to have an array of stuff. You're trying to work on your vehicle, you got yourself a crawler, you got an RTR, you want to make it a little bit better. The first mod, I guess you can call it, on a crawler would be tire and rim. 90% of RTRs out there, you're going to get a mediocre tire and rim package. They'll do the job. Are they going to excel at certain things? Most likely not. Best tire that I've seen so far was the Trepadors on the Axial SCX 10.3 Coyote. Wife picked one up, we all know. Not bad. They didn't do terrible. Insert, maybe something to be a little bit desired, but didn't do bad. So, without going on in this whole entire array of BSing about everything, which I love to do, and turning a maybe 20 minute to a half hour video into a 3-hour segment of anything and everything, let's kind of concentrate on tires. Let's try to do this, alright? So, before getting into the mountain and everything else, tools. People are thinking what kind of tools you're going to need. Well, depends what you're going with. If you're going with Vanquish, you're going to need some US sizes. I got some cheapies here. My MIPs are over there. You can get Power Hobby brand. It's kind of a softer brass shank on it. You got to be careful. They will strip out. They will round. They're not 100% the best. It's not tool steel, but they'll do the job. They'll do the job, and they'll do the job effectively. I don't even know. These are some Amazon ones. The only reason I got these is I needed some little tiny nut drivers. I needed them in a pinch, so there they are. They work. Some companies will give you a tool with the rims that you buy. Okay, we'll get into that. So, basic tools, basic hand tools are the sizes that you're going to need. For 1/10 scale, this is a 2.5 millimeter. It's a very common screw for your beadlock screws. If it's not a, I guess, external head screw and it's an internal Allen or hex, a lot of times they might be the, what do we got here? I don't even know the size. I can't even remember. 2.0, 2 millimeter, and then you're going to end up getting into a 1.5. Pretty popular, so a 2.0, a 1.5. Sometimes you get into a .50. That's a lot of the micro stuff that you're going to get into, micro and mini. Just get a kit. Easiest thing to do, just start off with a kit and go from there. Get yourself a Power Hobby kit, etc., or you could get the, it's escaping my mind, ProTech. A-Main has them. ProTech tools are not bad. They're actually pretty decent. MIP is probably the top, like the snap-on to the Harbor Freight. We'll call it that if you're into turning wrenches. But yeah, you go on Amazon, you can get tools. Dynamite tools are actually decent. Got some of them in the house. A mixture of everything we got around here. But that's about what you need for tools. This little thing here, Hot Racing makes it. It's a fancy little tool. It's got the things for doing shocks, and there's other odds and ends, ball cups. The biggest thing that you're going to need on this tool, and you can do it with a leather punch also. If anybody, I don't have one of them, I use this thing. Leather punch gives you different sizes. So all this is a punch. All right, we'll try to get it in frame there. Okay, little punch, bing, 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 bing. So what this is for is venting your tires. Your tires do not come with vent, okay? Nothing to vent them. So you're going to want to pop a hole in the tread. I usually do center of tread. Pop a hole in. 475 tire this is. Usually in a 475, I'll do 2 holes. I've never came across any need to do 4 holes. We're not moving that fast where air needs to really escape fast. So we'll go with like your tire size Sorka comp rules. Like a 419, 2 holes. If you're smaller than that, like 385, so or somewhere in that area, 2 hole, 475, 2 hole. Anything above a 475, I might go 3 hole. 525 depends on the vehicle. Light vehicle may go 3 holes, may go 4 holes. Anything over like that, the 5-inch on up, usually I'm in that 3 to 4 hole area, just to let the air out of the tire so it squishes. If not, when you go to seal this up on a beadlock's going to seal pretty good. If you do not vent that tire and you go to squish it, it's going to create pressure on the opposite side. It's not a big deal on the opposite side. The problem is it doesn't allow you to squish. It's going to hold you up a little bit. If you're comping, competitive rock crawling, you're seriously into rock crawling, vent your tires. Absolutely 110% vent your tires. Don't go through water. Stay out of the water if you got foam inserts. You're going to leave water tracks everywhere you go. Have to take it apart to really clean them. They don't dry out. That little vent hole, it doesn't allow enough air. Even an air compressor going in it, you got to be careful so you don't blow your tire up. Ask me how I know. You're not going to get all that water out. You're going to have to split them apart. So stay out of the water if you vent them. If you're trailing, most guys do not vent their tires trailing. Now, if you're using a silicone or a 3D printed insert, you can get away with it. It'll dry out without getting all cruddy and nasty inside. If you choose to do that. Most trail guys, they just put the tire together to go out there and they trail ride. They don't get that big into it, unless it's like a comp trail ride or some sort. I don't even know if they have that. But anyhow, that's the start of it. So that's the basic tools you need. To aid in mounting the tire, the only other tool, quote unquote, that you might need, a little bottle of like soapy water. This is actually like bubble juice to kids blow bubbles. It's soapy water. Go to Dollar Tree, buy the thing. That's where the wife picked it up for me. It'll last you a while. You don't use much. You just put it in there. The nice thing about it is soapy water or bubble juice, the soap itself, when it dries, when the water evaporates, the soap's actually sticky. So it actually makes the tire stick to the rim, so you get less spin. I mean, in RC, I have never spun a tire on a rim. Your beadlocks are usually pretty good, so never had that issue, but it doesn't hurt. That's all it is. It's just soapy water, basically. Just gives you a little bit of slime, quote unquote, to just ease everything together. Everything just kind of flows together a little bit nicer. You're not fighting sticky rubber, because I'm a J-Con guy. J-Concepts tires has been good to me for a very long time. Everything from indoor carpet. I run a lot of J-Con. My carpet tires hanging up there right now are J-Con Fuzzbite. Still using them. Pin downs I used, etc. Off-road. Subcultures on my short course truck. What the heck did I run on my stadium truck? I'd go back and forth on the stadium truck. I did use sprinters from J-Con, but I would use the whole shot from Proline depending on the track. Whole shots were hard to beat. Still hard to beat. But J-Con's been good to me for everything. The buggy tires even, I'd run sprinters. Ellipse tires on the dirt oval for loose dirt. J-Concepts ellipse are excellent, especially the black compound, which you got to kind of hunt to get. J-Con has always had a good compound tire. I don't care the tread, the compound is just, it's top notch, top tier. Whatever they're doing, keep doing it. Please do not stop doing it. But anyway, So J-Con tires you got sitting here, you got a Tusk, got a Rock Block, two of my favorite tires for the comp stuff. This is a Rupture. Rupture is an excellent tire. J-Con green, same compound. It's all the same. Just your more abstract tire, so to say. This is actually Mickey Thompson, I think, if I remember that right. Yeah, Mickey Thompson makes this tire, manufactures this tire in the real world. Mickey Thompson manufactures this tire in the real world. They seem to have a thing going on here. This tire is not manufactured in the real world. There's nothing that looks like it. The little, if I can get this little guy in frame, the Megalithic, awesome crawling tire. Grabs stuff. I mean, you can see the compound just peeling away a little bit from use. Awesome tire. It finds things. Every one of these tires does. But these things, I mean, they'll find stuff in situations those won't, and vice versa. So tread is subjective at that point, but you can't run them. They're banned because they work so well. They work so well, but it's not a. It's I wouldn't say they ban them because they work. They're banning them because it represents no scale tire, and Sorka's all about scale. So, okay, end of that. Let's go to insert. We're going to touch base on insert. Now, like a lot of you guys out there know this stuff, okay? I'm trying to wrap my brain around this and slow down a little bit to the newcomers. So if I miss something, drop a comment. I'll try to get back and read. I won't say I'm going to be fast at it, but I'll get back to you. One way, shape, or form if you need help. You can look us up on Facebook too, All In RC. Message something, whatever. I have no problem helping people. As long as I got the time and I get to it and we can go back and forth, whatever it takes, I'll do it. But anyhow, this is kind of my own little custom creation. You see there's 3 different things going on here. Messing around with triple stage. It actually didn't work bad. Just taking old foams from, basically, I mean, this thing's on here tight. That's an old foam from one of my short course wheels, just left over. Of course, this is your dirty Proline foam. The Proline outer foam, soft, it's awesome. Awesome stuff. I mean, it is so soft, and that's why I beefed it up with another one. But problem with Proline, okay? The insert, this insert, the inner, your second stage, so to say, in this case third, they make their inserts to fit their rims. Their rims, and there's one other manufacturer that I stumbled across that has this groove in there. You'll find some of your off-brand carbon rims sometimes have that groove, and these will work. But when you put this on a flat rim, good example, all right, it fits. Don't get me wrong, it fits. You see all this gap in here. Unless you have a way to fill that in, or whatever you plan to do, this insert has got so much play, it rock and rolls on the tire. So it feels great. The insert works well in a straight line. As soon as you start to turn or get on a side hill, it starts shifting and your tires just wobble. But you get that shift. It's constantly kicking back and forth on the rim. So downfall to that. Now, if Proline would be really nice and helpful, instead of going on Amazon and getting some, you can get cheaper foams that are basically the same. Very similar. Not exactly the same, but very similar. But it's smooth on the inside, does not have that rip. All right? If Proline would be nice enough to be like, hey, for our rims, we'll make this. We'll just make a smooth inside for the masses so the rest of the people can buy it. It's not bad. It's a decent foam except for the stupid rib. It bugs me. It just drives me up a wall. So, but great foam. This outside, these are not going to do me any good no more. But the outside is, that you keep that. You never know what you'll use it for. I don't have any fridge foam. I didn't order any to show you, but of course your stock foams, J-Concept stock foam, this comes in the tire, in the bag. They're not terrible. If you got a lighter rig, they're not bad. My rigs usually tip the scales in that pretty much 7 pound plus area. These foams aren't terrible in the front. You'll get some massive compression sometimes, but rear, absolutely not. Not in my rigs. If you got a very, very lightweight rig, sub 5 pound, all day long. Absolutely all day long, but never throw them out because you always find a use for them. I mean, you could always wrap them, do other stuff. Okay. Now, there is tricks to these foams. These foams are big and beefy. When you're going to put them on a rim, this inside, since it's square cut, is going to give you a little bit of a hard time if you're using these. Take a scissor. I'm not going to cut these because I don't know what I'm going to fit them to yet. I like to use my curved Lexan scissors just because they're smaller. I got more control. I'm going to take a chunk out of that inside. So basically bevel that edge. Round it a little bit. Very similar to your foams. Okay, it's got that little bevel right there. You want to cut that bevel. That bevel there in this is for a reason. For more or less a sidewall. There's a word I can never remember, but yeah, whatever. We're having a good one tonight. Let me tell you. But anyway, cut that little groove in there. It'll make it easier to mount up. It works better. It's going to puff your sidewall out, but it's okay. You want that. Just a little trick on those. So getting into the main trickery of things, all right. And of course, you're going to get into beadlock rims now. All right, well, hang on. Before I get into that, whoop, rewind. No, one more insert. This is for my 419 Class 1 tire, okay? These are some cheap Amazon, glow-backed, whatever. I've talked about these ones before in a very short, not very in-depth. I actually like them. You got to be careful a little bit, depending on how heavy your rim is and everything else. Try to keep your tires. I like to keep them in that 200 gram area. I don't typically go over like 225, like 210, 215 max, but 200 is like, just seems to be a nice area. You don't want too much rotating mass. You'll start feeling it in your motor. You'll start feeling it in the truck itself. You want weight, but you don't want rotating weight. Okay, you got to be careful of that. These add a little bit of rotating weight, but I don't mind it because this insert is not foam. This is actually rubber. It's a little. Oop, I'm not in frame again. This is at every video we do. So it's a little rubber thing. I like it. Just gives that little bit of mass, keeps it somewhat down low, and it's not too crazy, too bad. Now the foam, it's definitely not Proline squishy. This is soft. I'm barely touching it, barely. This is a little stiffer. It's got more body to it. I don't mind it because I have heavier rigs. But even if you have a lighter rig, don't comp with it right away. Run it. Run it, run it, run it, and run it more. Break this foam in. This foam will break down. I have them in a set of my Rock Block 419s on my one truck. At first, they were kind of like, you noticed the truck was kind of bouncy. It was just kind of all over the place. The more I ran the truck, the better it got, the better it just kept getting better. Right now, I think it's pretty much plateaued. But they break down so nicely. I don't know what the composition is of this thing, but I think they're $17 or $18 for a set of 4 in the 419. 475, I haven't bought them yet. I wish I did because I really wanted to put them in here, but I have different ones in there. But these tusks that are slightly used, not much. I'd like to get a set of these for the 475 and see what it does. So that's a little bit on the inserts. There's a lot more to it. We're not going to screw you up with everything, but I don't have silicones on hand. I do not have 3D printed. I'm not a fan of either of them. I like the old school foams. You give me some cheap ones from Amazon. You give me some Proline. You give me some Crawler Innovations, like Little Novas or something. I'm all for it. I like how a foam acts. Silicone is good in certain things. Trail rig, if you're venting your tires for water and everything else. The 3D printed, they're good in certain ways. The silicone to me is bouncy. Very boing bone, but it just never goes away. They don't seem to break in. They do, but they don't. I don't know. There's something about them. I'm not in that groove. I'm still old school foamy. 3D printed, made out of like TPU, 3D on the 3D printers. They work, but they're very tailored to the tire. It's not like I could take the insert out of this J-Con I just put in. I could throw this one there. I could mix them around. I could take this one, put them in here. But I could kind of swap them around and play games. You could kind of do that with a 3D insert, but they're very specific a lot of times, built to the exact standard of tire. Because I mean, there's ways about it. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but I probably will. Just the construction of them, the cresting and the taper of the sidewall, stiffness, everything else. And like the stiffness, you got to be careful of when they're custom made. Like they're a certain pound rig that they're going to be like, they're going to flex for this one. The guys have figured it out, but they're just very specific. So once you put them in a tire, it's usually, that's where they go. At least to me it is. There's not a lot of playing around, swapping. You can, but at what cost? I'm particular about how the tire fills, the foam fills the tire, because I consider the foam breaking down, it's going to get softer. So there's guys who'll be like, well, I want the compliance is the word I was looking for before. I want the compliance in the tire from the get-go. That's great. Silicone? Perfect. Yeah, yes, definitely you want that compliance in a tire, because that silicone doesn't change much. 3D printed will change. Foams will change. So I like to have, when I put my foams in, just me personally, my opinion on it, I like them to have a little crown in the tire. I don't want my tire flat when I put a new insert in the tire. I want a little crown. Because after you run it and you break that foam down, she's going to flatten out. If it's too flat and the tire compresses too much, it'll start to concave in the middle. And that's, you're basically, you have no, that's not a non-contact patch at that point. So you're going to let the side of the tire do all the work. And you'll see it in the tire wear. You'll know where you're going wrong. So just be aware. Read your tires. You can always tell what a tire does and how your vehicle is working. Like, I don't remember what side this was on. I have a feeling this was the inside, this is the outside. Just by the way, you can see how the lugs, there's a certain way it digs. Like, it'll dig on one side harder depending on the truck. Always pay attention to tire wear. That's something in off-road, especially circle track. When we're doing circle track with sprints or the modifieds, look at your tire wear, and it'll tell you how to adjust your vehicle to that. But now we're going off, and we're going off the rails, like we always like to do. So let's get back to this. So inserts, a little inside scoop on insert. It's not difficult, and I'll tell you what I do with them. This is a mounted tire. It's already prepped. We already got them done. I like to put it on a scale. So here's my little scale. Okay, I'm going to try to, I keep forgetting about looking at my monitor. So I got it set, my units are set pound ounces. Alright. So I'm going to put the tire on the scale. Now I like to push on it just with my hand. Now I know my vehicles are like in that 7.5 pound range. My trucks are fairly heavy. So I'm going to push on it and I want to get like about half. You think a quarter because of 4 tires, but I like to do a half. It just works for me. It's what I understand how my brain is working when I'm setting things up. So we're about 3 pounds right there. Now I have a very good squish on that tire. A little bit of bag on the sidewall. And I can see my profile has flattened out from this much, from roughly about an inch, give or take on the scale, to we're probably pushing 2 inches at least. So that squish is right kind of where I want it. So it's reading like, okay, it's not getting too bad. If I'm angled a little bit to the side, it's not rolling the tire. I'm not going to lose traction and the tire roll over itself. It's just giving me a read of, all right, this is how much pressure I have on the tire poundage-wise. It's just an idea. Poundage-wise on the tire, and it shows me what the tire is going to do with X amount of weight on the tire. And you can go from, like, we're at, what, 7.4 ounces. And again, there's about 2 pound. We'll just call it that. And I have a very nice squish on it. It's about where I want that tire and how I want it to act at that point, where it's not constantly gushing and mushing over stuff. I don't want that. I want that when the tire needs to work, I want it to do its thing. I don't need it to do its thing all the time. And that's just my personal ways of doing it. All right, yours may be different, but just it's a good practice to get into. You can kind of judge. Now you have numbers to work with. Well, let's put it this way. By looking at that, you know what you weigh your vehicle. You know what it weighs. You're putting pressure on the tire after you put it all together the way what you chose, and now you can see what it does. Okay, now I have a reference. You write that reference down somewhere, or you remember it, however you do it. You go out there, you run the vehicle, and say you come back in one day and you change something, all right? You change rim to a lighter rim. Now, of course, that's going to change your pressure, so kind of figure your numbers out at that point if you want to get that critical. If you're changing the insert, all right, okay, we'll just do that. That's easier. So you change your insert. All right, I want to go to a different insert. So before you had, okay, I had 3.5 pounds of pressure, X amount of squish on the tire, how much bag was in it. You jot down your notes of however you're measuring it. Jot all that down. Now you can go back to reference that. Okay, this is what I had before when I had a Crawler Innovations insert in. Now I put the glow-backed one from Amazon in there. So where am I at? Oh, now you have that reference. Go on the course to see what it does. If it's better, if it's worse, you got reference. You always got something to fall back on. You always have something to go back, like, okay, that didn't work. That's not my bag. That's not my deal. We need to go back to where I was, start over again. Okay? It's just reference at that point. So getting into, I think that's enough on that. So let's move on to rims, okay? You've never done never done rims and tires before. You got an RTR. You've always played with RTRs. You never dug this deep into the rabbit hole of, man, I'm going to do beadlocks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get tires, etc., etc. Okay? So now you're going to get into beadlocks playing around if you haven't. Plastic beadlock that comes on the vehicle. All right? It's very, very simple. You got two halves, and you got an inner ring. All right? So when you set the tire up, you're going to put your insert inside the tire, just squish it on in there. Get it all working around, make sure it's nice, make sure the tire feels like, it feels real good. Then you pop in that center ring, okay? That's this little critter right here. That ring is going to go inside. You want to get it inside the bead, make sure it's all nice and pretty, all right? Then you're going to pop your one side in, whichever side you prefer. I always do the deeper. This rim you have to, but some rims give you, I don't have anything else apart, but you pop in the one side, push it on in there, and like I said, use your little soapy water, put it on the rubber, get that thing mashed in there, line it up. Sometimes they can play havoc and play tricks on you. A lot of your better quality rims you're going to pay a little bit more for aren't as bad. Amazon, like Enora rims, RC Lions, they haven't been treating me bad. Haven't had a lot of issues with them. I don't want to bash anybody, but I've had minimal luck with RC four-wheel drive. RC four-wheel drive makes their rims for their tires. Sometimes the bead, there's a little bit of difference in the bead. Some have ribbing in there and everything else, and it makes it a little bit challenging. Some rims just don't care. They'll go take any tire, just be like, yeah, throw it on me, we're ready to go. Some rims are a little more picky, so you'll learn that as you go, unfortunately. I cannot give you a list of what rims work with what tire. I don't have it. I know J-Con works pretty good on most every rim. The RC four-wheel drive steel rims, I absolutely despise. I'll never buy another one. They're aluminum. I mean, I just use these for knock-around rims. And, of course, this is on a rupture. That's RC four-wheel drive. It's a little bit wider than what I like. I like it on the rupture for the width, and I got single stage in there, but the rupture, it fits pretty well. I don't have a lot of slop side to side. It's actually not bad. If I was to use, say, like the Glow-Backed or Crawler Innovations foams that are narrower, more for like a 24 to a 26 millimeter width inner ring, all right, that kind of insert on here would be sloppy. It'd be all over the place, so that's a no-no. But anyhow, put two together, get your rims. We'll do one rim here. I got some done. Get these two together. Slam it in there, get everything, all your bead nice and pretty. We'll go through that here shortly. You put your screw in the back, tighten it down, cross 1, 1, 1, 1, whatever it is. If you got 4, if you got 5 in the back, like the Weiss new rims, got a bunch in there, just crisscross them. I do this one by like 3s roughly. 1, 2, 3. Tighten them down slowly, put your other ones in there. Take your time. Take your time. Now some rims, like this one, you got no bead lock, nothing fancy on it. So you're going to have this half screws in, that half, the hub is made onto the rim, not a lot of separate pieces. This one here has a beadlock ring, okay? It really does nothing. It's just for show. But some have a screwed on, where you got to put 20 to 25, 26 little screws in there. It can be a little tedious. It has a hub. As you can see, it's black. We changed them. That's some of the mods that we do around here to get the spacing on the vehicle. So you might change them out. Just remember, let me throw this in the mix. This is going to be a very all over the place video. I could sense it. Power Hobby, Reefs, most of your Amazon, your Enoras, and everything else, Endura, however you say it, all those are going to be a metric rim. So these hubs, 9 out of 10 times, are going to go from multiple rims. It's going to jump from Reefs to Enduras to whatever the heck these are that she bought. This is a Power Hobby hub. Power Hobby makes rims too. They were on sale. I bought them. We're going to try them. For as cheap as they were, I'm going to give them a go. Well, 2 days after I bought them, they got used. So, worked out pretty good. But they're all metric. All right? Vanquish is not metric. If you buy Vanquish rims, which are kind of pricey, but they're nice, no trouble, slap them together, go. They use standard. And we have some of their parts here, and I'll go over that. But just so you know, hub changing, just to get your spacing, yep. Keep it metric, keep it simple. Vanquish is, I think, is off the top of my head, is the only one I know of that uses standard imperial size hardware. So keep that in the back of your head. So moving on, I don't really need to scale anymore. That's done for show. And you could, of course, use the scale to measure the weight of your tires. Know where you're at. But this one, I got to make sure I mount it. These are directional, so I got to make sure I mount this the same way since I stacked them all up. Alright, we got those two. And we got that one. So I need a right rear. Okay. Picked it up the right way. Things are working out finally. Okay, so mounting it. Again, make sure your ring is in there. Make sure everything is nice and where it needs to be. So, it needs to be a right rear. So this is going in that way. Alright, but let me put my juice on it. A little quiet. I'll just take a pause. I gotta concentrate with my swab, you know what I mean? Just slap her on. If you can see what I'm there, just get it in there. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Slap it on there, pop this little baby in there. Done. Alright, that side's pretty good. It looks like it's pretty much centered. I like to look at it, walk it around, make sure it's in there, push on the insert, make sure it's set, flip her over. Now a half and half rim, like this Vanquish rim, since you're not using a true beadlock ring, alright, it's a beadlock, but it doesn't work as a scale like a real life beadlock will. So it's basically a rim edge that's going to sit down and it's going to pinch the rubber in between that center. Treel makes a beadlock. Like, it's a beadlock. So, your beadlock ring is what is going to lock the outside of this tire to this rim. But you still have to get it in between the inner collar. So I will not bubble juice this side. So you just want to work, you hold it with your thumb, make sure my hat's not in the frame here. You want to work that bead down just into that, around this rim half that you put in. So you don't want the bead sticking up. You want it just down in there. Alright, make sure it's nice and clean. You got no inside flap. You don't have a flap on top of where your holes, top of where your holes are. Very gently just set it down in there. The reason I don't use the bubble juice, because we tried, and the bubble juice makes it so slippery that it's hard to get it to hold. So you just be finessey with it. Alright, your other side's still good. I'm just holding my fingers in the back of it. Set it down in there. You're going to slap your ring on. Try to get it as close to lined up with a screw hole as you can. Good enough. You take your little baby screws. Pop one there. Hopefully my fingers stay working for this, because I've done a lot of little screws in the past 2 days between wife's tires, these. Thank goodness I did not buy any more rims. So, now this tool, bought that off Amazon. Treel actually gives you the tool. This is in the kit. Alright. You just get it started. Switch over, get the other one started till you feel a little bit of tension on it. And that's where I kind of stop. I want it even. I don't want to have it offset or upset one side of the bead to where I'm pushing on one side and it's going to kind of force the other side out. It doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. It gets very frustrating because then you got to take it all back apart, do it all over again. And one thing I have to emphasize. When you're doing tires, if you vent your tires, if you're doing a set of 4 tires, the first thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, the first thing that you want to do, get your leather punch, or if you've got the hot racing tool with the little plunger on there with the hole punch, vent all the tires you're going to mount. If you're venting them, vent them before you take another tool out, before you get a rim out and get it prepped and everything ready. Take your packs, okay, and I like a system. Get all your tires out. I got a pile here, pile there, pile there, whatever. Throw all your garbage out. Plastic bags, everything else, put them in the bin, get them gone. Clean up your work area. Vent every tire you plan to mount, as long as you're venting all of those tires, okay? The reason I say that, It's because you'll sit there and you get into a rhythm or a groove, and say, like, you know, you're watching TV or something, whatever, and you're listening to radio and you're jamming along. All right, I'm going to mount another one up. You get in there, you put all these 20-something screws. I'm not going to do all that right now. You put all them 20 screws in there, 24 screws, and then all of a sudden what the heck? I didn't vent the tire. You know what comes next, right? Strip her down and do it all over again, and it's just annoying. It's not a big deal, but you got there. You were at the end. You made it. The finish line was in sight. Trophy was there, and you threw it all away. So, by all means, do the venting, punch your holes in everything that you're going to do that day. That way, you can take that tool. You're not going to use it again for the tires. It's just for punching. You hang it up. You throw it off to the side. You're done. You completed. You've won the battle. All right? Because you do not want to go back through and do it. And if you do it once, I will assure you, you will do it again. So, heed my advice, because I did, see there's 4 tires sitting here? I did 5 tires tonight. Yeah. Don't make my mistakes. So, anyway, I'm going to close this thing before I dump it. It's been dumped before. I go through more bubble juice, not using it, just dumping it. Kind of like my energy drinks that I go through like water. So, anyhow, that's your beadlock. That's a true beadlock. It's not very hard, just a little tedious getting it right. There's not a lot of video out there that people like break down. I hope I broke this down enough for you. That break down what it takes to put that tire in, not struggle. The biggest thing, when you got a very sticky compound tire, the bubble juice. Use bubble juice, use your soapy water. That is key. It just makes that get in there and just seat right in. Pops in real nice, smooth, fresh. It just makes life great. All right. This side, I'm not going to use it. Now, if I was to mount this rim that has somewhat of equal halves, but it's not a beadlock, so to say. It's a beadlock. It has a ring. But it doesn't have a beadlock ring on the outside, if you follow me. Bubble juice both sides. That way this thing just mushes together. Goes in smooth. It's not pulling hard on one side. Everything just goes smoothly together. You screw in your back screws. Same thing. Crisscross pattern them. It's just something I do. Goes in nice and even, and you have a beautiful mounted tire. No struggle. No headaches. Just nice. So, treels. Okay, now here's a baby treel. This is an older treel. It goes in. It's kind of a wild little setup. You got 6 screws in the center. That looks like, oh man, you got a hub. No, it doesn't have a hub. The hub is built right into the rim. It's just 6 screws to make it look like you got lug nuts. So you're going to put those little things in there. And those are a .50. So when you get into micro 1-inch size, you're going to need little tools. So keep that in mind. But this is a half and half style treel rim. Very easy to put together, falls together. Same method for baby tire to full size tire or bigger tire. So I wouldn't say full size. 10 scale. Now, treel is very good at making stuff very realistic. These rims, okay, looks pretty similar, a little different, just 5-star, whatever. Exactly the same. This is a beadlock ring. There is no screws. I should have taken it off for you. There's no screws in the back side of this. It's all beadlock. It mounts exactly the same as this. Treel, in my view, I think has the most realistic. May not be a KMC rim that's made, you know, in the real world like Vanquish has. Vanquish does have a ring on the outside, but it's not a true beadlock because it's still a pieced rim. This is not a true beadlock because it is a pieced rim. This is a true beadlock because it is a one-piece rim with a removable ring just like the real deal. Same as these little guys here. So, moving on to mods, before we make this any longer, let me put my stuff up. Get one of these too. You can get Harbor Freight. This is actually Pittsburgh, if you can't see it. You do now. It is handy. Handy, handy, handy. And I'll show you why it's so handy. You definitely want one of these when you start getting into modding things like I like to do. So, I'm very picky about my track width of the vehicles, primarily because we comp them, and you have certain gates that you have to get through, where Class 1, 11-inch minimum gate, okay? It can be wider, but 11-inch minimum. And believe me, who sets the courses, you're going to get an 11-inch gate. If your vehicle is 9.5, 10 inches wide, track width on your wheels, you're going to stress yourself out getting through it. Can it be done? Yes. Can it be done easily? No. So make your life easy. Narrow your width down to where you're not losing stability. You're going to do that with your offset on your rims, okay? You're going to want more positive offset, all right? Positive offset pushes it to the outside. Your face is going to be more towards the outside of the rim. Negative offset is going to put it in, all right? So you know. So when you're ordering them and it's like, oh, 10-inch pot or 10 inch. Woo, woo, yeah. We're going back to the real car days here, boy. 10 millimeter offset. Make sure you pay attention if you're ordering a 10 millimeter offset rim in RC land, if it's positive or negative, and if they disclose that. You're going to want that. Or if you're searching on Amazon and you want to narrow your width, if you don't care about your width and you're just farting around, it don't matter. Just throw on whatever you want to do. And that's why I changed the hubs on these to get these pretty narrow on the Weiss Coyote. The Coyote comes out of the factory narrow already on the axles. The AR-45 portals are pretty narrow, considering, but we made it a little narrower than what this came factory. This one here, I specifically bought, okay, from my local hobby shop, had a pack of treels, and I'm like, you know, I haven't put 24, 25 screws in a beadlock in a while. It sounds like a fun time, so let's go and buy a set of treels. You go to a set of Vanquish or Reese rims, you're looking at $65 to $69 a pair. A pair. The Treel, they actually make very good quality. I think they do. They make good quality, very decent stuff. Beautiful products they put out. They seem to have a care, but they do it within a means of easiness to your wallet. So for $69 for rims. Yes, you could go on Amazon, $35, $40, get a set of rims, $10 a rim. Yes, you can do that. I'm picky about my rims. It's just me. I'm not a rich man by no means, but I'm picky about my rims. But I've seen them. I saw them with that face pretty much pronounced, that offset that I was looking for. And I'm like, you know what? I got all different hubs at home, and you can buy hubs online. They are metric. Treel is metric. Well, most of the hubs I have around here, because when I find them on sale, I buy them. I got a lot of Vanquish hubs. And remember what I said before. Vanquish is imperial, not metric. So, brand new set of rims. I want to change the hubs out. Now, I can go back to the other ones. Don't you worry. But brand new set of hubs, or rims. And I'm going to put Vanquish hubs in them, because that's what I got. The wife took my Power Hobby metrics. So, what do I got left? You know, my little hub thing. So, I open up my hub thing. Oh, there they are. There's the factory ones that came in it. Alright, they're a little fat. I don't want my track width that wide. So let's go over to my Vanquish shelf. Found two real, like 3 mil hubs. I'm talking little guys, little baby guys in there. Just enough to mount a wheel to it. Uh-oh. Yeah. Wheel mods, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Modify it. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to change things. I understand you're investing money into it. Oh my God, I gotta leave it alone. Alright. I just had to go one size bigger. Hence, get yourself one of these. And go to Harbor Freight. Get yourself one of them. Alright, this is a titanium number drill bit set. I don't know how titanium they are. We haven't put them to the test. But there is a slew of sizes in there. For RC stuff, these things, all they do is drill plastic and they drill aluminum. I do not use them for steel. I got other bits for steel. So, for a cheap drill bit set that's got a whole crap load of sizes in there, save yourself some bucks, get yourself a decent, alright, it's decent, drill bit set for plastic and aluminum. You're not going to kill them, alright? So, you're going to measure your screw. This screw, I think, was 3.5. They're in here. I don't know. I won't bother. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the time. You're going to learn today. It's my video. I do what I want. I pity the fool. Stupid references yet again. So we're at here. This one's showing smaller. I'm hoping that ain't metric mixed in. That should be a Vanquish screw. So my thread is 280. Yeah, that's about right. So 280 is the distance. You know, 2.80 millimeter, so roughly 3 millimeter screw, give or take. I have to oversize this because, or not, well, yeah, this is imperial, remember. I'm measuring it in metric just because it's kind of easier on here. You don't have to worry about point this, point that, whatever suits your fancy. But I go to the drill, Go to my index, and I'm like, all right, well, I was 280, right? What drill bit do I need? Go over there. Oh, look. This drill bit, if I stop shaking it and be an idiot, it's like 288, 287. It's a little bit bigger than that, just by a hair. All right, we're going to try it. Perfect fit. All right. Makes life easy. No guessing. No drilling oversized, because if you take too much material out, you can't put it back. I mean, you can if you got a TIG welder, but I'm not going to recommend doing it on a little rim. So make sure you got your sizes right. You know, they might have been metric. I don't know. That's just my wheel hub bin. It's got a whole mixture of stuff. So drill that baby out. Put the hub in that you need or you have. Again, I could go the other way with this. I had to drill it out a tiny, tiny bit just to get the Vanquish Imperial size in there. They went right in, everything bolted right up, boom, we're in business. If I got to go back to the old hubs, it'll go right in. The hub has a center ring in there, it centers on the hub, it's not an issue. So you want to mod some stuff, mod her up. Alright? Again, with inserts, don't be afraid to try things. It's cheap. It's cheap. Inserts ain't that much. Like I said, those glow-backed ones, they're cheap. There's other ones on there that are not rubber, that are foam on Amazon. I looked them up. They're in the cart. I don't have them right now, but you can pick them up cheap. 20 bucks for 4, if that. $17 for 4 of them things. If you don't like the insert in the middle, all right, well, I got these over here. I'm going to throw them in there, and then we're going to fit this, we're going to fit that, etc., etc. I'm not saying you're going to fit 419 to 475, but you got foam to mess around with. So then when you have other inserts sitting around, and it's like, all right, now I can play with it. Yeah, I'm going to do triple stage. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You could change things up to tailor your needs and what you need to build your tires. Tires, in RC, tires is 90% of your setup in most scenarios. In rock crawling, probably about 80%, 85% tire. Tire compound. Do I got to do it a third time? Squeaky tires are usually not sticky tires on the rocks. On the road, probably pretty good. Trail, pretty good tire. The wife bought them because she wanted the rims. Tires came with them. They're cheap enough, so she's going to use them. We'll try them out. If we don't like them, we'll just trail them. It's not a big deal. Your better compounds, they just slide. Now you're thinking, man, this tire feels so good on the workbench. This doesn't. Well, are you crawling on your workbench? No. So, by experience, you know these things, okay? So a squeaky tire, questionable on the rocks. The compound here being soft will slide. It's just the way it is. I have no scientific answers for you if you ask the question. Why does it do that? I don't know. All it is a guide, all right? No squeak, you're probably going to have a good tire. It's going to be a good rock crawling tire. So, whew. I think I did it. I did mount it backwards. On video. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. This is another left. I needed a right. So, guess what we're going to do? We're not going to do it on video. We're going to take it apart again. At least I vented it. So, anyway, there you go. If you're new to beadlocks, it's not that bad. Don't fight a dry tire on a beadlock. That's the best advice I could give you. Just put them together, take your time, use the little tools, while I'm yapping. Just take your time with them. Don't fight it. Just finesse it, ease it. Don't be in a rush when you're doing your tires, because if you're in a rush and yapping about something and trying to pay attention to if you're in frame, and I hope I was for half of this video, that I'm usually half out of frame, and you forget to put it on the right way, I'm going to be doing what I'm doing here. So take your time. Take your time. Do it right. Do it right the first time, especially the venting. Now, to flip this tire around is not inconvenient, being I only put 4 little screws in the front. Thank the Lord we're doing a video, and I only put 4 screws in it. But the venting part is the pain in the butt, because I don't just have to do that and then flip it around and put it back together, okay? The other part, you got to take the center ring out, you got to take your insert out, vent it, put everything back together. It's just more steps you don't have to do. So, not going to bore you with that, but again, if you're in the little tires are the same exact way. They'll actually fight you more at times. You got to be a little more finessey because you ain't got a lot to hold on to. But after you get the hang of it, don't get frustrated in the first like I do. I will throw stuff across the shop in a heartbeat. Take your time. Just take your time, do them. If it's frustrating, put it down, walk away. And that's coming from me, and those who know me know that's saying a lot. If coming from me, of saying walk away. Because I've had tires go in the garbage can because I've had a fit of rage, and I'm just like, I'm done with these things. And yeah, stupid things. So we're not going to bore you anymore on the tire thing. That's about it. Any questions, comments, concerns, check us out on Facebook. Comment in the video. Hopefully these videos get out there more. The algorithm starts doing its work and getting out there. We're just here to help you out. We're not here for commercials. We're not here for, and of course YouTube at some point is probably going to put commercials on it, but we're not here to, whatever they call it in this stuff anymore. Like, I'm not here to be YouTube famous. I'm not here to be, I guess, make a career out of making RC content on YouTube. I just do it to help you out. I have fun doing it. I like to share a little bit of knowledge. I like to share my struggles of having to redo things. You're seeing the real. We don't stage this stuff. I don't have a list of things. Sometimes I put a list together of things I got to cover, a lot of times off the cuff. We just go with it here. Well, I should say I'm pretty much the only one here right now. Maybe some other folks will get on it, whatever, and share the page. Doesn't have to be just me. If somebody else has some content that they want to send me, put up, whatever, etc., and like we team up, partner, I'm cool with it, as long as I'm cool with you. You know, if I don't know you, I don't know. But, you know, somebody local that wants to chime in on stuff, I'm all for it. We can go anywhere with this. Anywhere we want to go, we could go. So, again, don't be afraid to try out new things. Don't be afraid to modify new things. Do what you got to do. Take your time. Mount up tires. J-Con, green compound. Yeah, that's where it's at in my book. Proline Predator compound. We're in the Northeast. Okay, this compounds that work. G8 out here. On the right day, odd days, maybe. Most time, it's green. Green means go. So, won't bore you anymore. Everybody, hey, have fun with your RC hobby. Have fun with your tires. I guess as they would say, if you know some old movie references, well, actually, let's say some old school rap music. You could do some regulators and mount up. All right. Get your stuff done, get out there on the rocks, get playing. It don't matter if it's cold out, don't matter if it's rainy out. It just gives you a harder lesson that day, and it makes you better when the weather's nice. So get out there, have fun with your stuff, play with some inserts, buy some cheapies, mess around, figure some stuff out. I push you to do things you don't want to do. So until next time, all in RC, checking out, have fun with your rubber. Be good.